Please do not forget subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload next. Brian James, the pioneering guitarist and founding member of the iconic UK punk band The Damned, has died at the age of 70. His passing was confirmed in a statement posted on his official Facebook page on March 6, 2024. James, who wrote and played on the band's groundbreaking first two albums, Damned 1977 and Music for Pleasure 1977, shaped the sound of punk rock during its explosive early years. Though he left the band in late 1977, he returned for brief reunions in the 1980s and most recently in 2022, cementing his legacy as a key architect of the genre. Brian James was born on February 18, 1955, in London, England. His real name was Brian Robertson. He grew up in a place called Hammersmith. His family loved music. His dad played the trumpet in jazz bands and his mom sang in local clubs. Because of this, James heard all kinds of music when he was a kid, like rock and roll, blues, and jazz. When he was 10, James got his first guitar. It was a birthday gift. He loved it right away. He spent hours every day playing it. He learned chords and tried to copy famous guitarists like Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton. As a teenager, he started playing in small bands around his school. He was good at it and people noticed. At 16, James decided he didn't want to stay in school. He wanted to be a musician full-time. He left school and took small jobs to make money. At the same time, he kept playing music with different bands in London. This is when he started making his own style. His guitar playing mixed rock, blues, and something new that would soon become punk. In the 1970s, something big was happening in the UK. Young people were tired of the same old things. They wanted something fresh and loud. That's when punk rock started. Punk was all about being wild and free. It was noisy and full of energy. James loved it. He went to punk shows at places like the 100 Club and the Roxy in London. He saw bands like the Sex Pistols and the Clash play. These shows made him excited. He wanted to make his own punk music. So, he put an ad in a music magazine to find people who felt the same way. That's how he met Rat Scabies. Rat Scabies was a drummer whose real name was Christopher Miller. He loved punk too. They started writing songs together. Soon they found Dave Vanian, who sang and had a spooky look. Then they added Captain Sensible, who played bass and liked to joke around. In 1976, they became The Damned. The Damned didn't waste time. They played their first show at the 100 Club, opening for the Sex Pistols. People loved how fast and crazy they were. The band mixed punk with spooky sounds and fun lyrics. This made them special. In 1976, The Damned made a song called New Rose. It was one of the first punk songs ever sold. Then, in February 1977, they released their first album, Damned, Damned, Damned. They recorded it in just 3 days. A man named Nick Lowe helped them make it. The album had big songs like Neat 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 and I Feel Alright. James wrote most of these songs. His guitar playing was loud and fast. Made the album a hit. People still call Damned, Damned, Damned one of the best punk albums ever. It helped punk rock grow bigger. Later that year, in November 1977, The Damned made another album called Music for Pleasure. A famous musician from Pink Floyd, Nick Mason, worked with them on it. This album was a little different. Tried new sounds. Songs like Problem Child were on it, and James wrote them too. It wasn't as popular as the first album, but it still showed his talent. The Damned were doing well, but things got tricky. James didn't like where the band was going. He thought they were losing their punk style. He also argued with the others about who should decide things. In late 1977, after one big fight, he said he was done. He left The Damned. This was hard for the band. James was the main person writing songs and playing guitar, but they kept going without him. They found new people to join and change their music a bit. James didn't stop making music. Right after leaving The Damned, he started a new band called Tanster Youth. He worked with Andy Calhoun on guitar, Alan Powell on drums, and Tony Moore on keyboards. In 1978, they made a song called I'm Sorry, I'm Sorry. It was different from the Damned's music, with some strange sounds. But the band didn't last long. They broke up soon after. In 1982, James started another band called the Lords of the New Church. He teamed up with Stiv Bators from the Dead Boys, Dave Tregunna from Sham 69, and Nicky Turner from the Barracudas. This band mixed punk with gothic and dreamy sounds. Their first album, The Lords of the New Church, came out in 1982. It had a popular song called Open Your Eyes. They made 2 more albums, Is Nothing Sacred? In 1983 and The Method to Our Madness in 1984. People loved their wild shows. The band stopped in 1989, but they had a lot of fans. Years later, in the 1980s, the Damned asked James to come back. He said yes. He played on their 1986 album Anything. This album went back to punk sounds. James's guitar was a big part of it, and he helped write songs too. But he didn't stay long. After a little while, he left again. Even so, he stayed friends with the band. In 2022, something special happened. The Damned decided to play shows with all the original members, James, Rat Scabies, Dave Vanian, and Captain Sensible. These reunion shows were a huge deal. Fans filled the places where they played. James's guitar sounded as strong as ever. Everyone said the shows were amazing. James didn't just play in bands. He also made music on his own. In 1990, he released his first solo album, Brian James. It had rock, punk, and blues in it. People liked it because it showed all the things he could do. He kept making solo albums later, like The Guitar That Dripped Blood in 2012 and Chateau Brian in 2016. These let him try new ideas. He also worked with other musicians. In 1988, he played guitar for Iggy Pop on an album called Instinct. You can hear him on songs like Cold Metal. He started a band called the Dripping Lips in the 1990s too. Plus, he helped out on albums by groups like Chelsea and the Brains. Brian James was a huge part of punk rock. His work with the Damned helped start the whole punk movement. His guitar playing was fast and full of power. His songs like New Rose and Neat 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 are still famous today. Bands like the Sex Pistols, The Clash, and even newer ones like Green Day learned from him. In 2018, the Damned got a big honor. They were put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. People talked about how much James did for the band. He didn't win lots of big awards, but musicians everywhere knew he was special. When news came out that James had died, people were very sad. Fans wrote on social media about how much they loved his music. They shared stories about seeing him play. Musicians said nice things too. Captain Sensible from the Damned wrote on Twitter, "Brian was a true original and a brilliant guitarist. His riffs were the backbone of our early sound, and he will be deeply missed." Dave Vanian said, "Brian was not just a bandmate but a friend. His passion for music was infectious, and his legacy will live on through the music we created together." Other famous people spoke up too. Billy Idol, who knew James from a band called Chelsea, said, "Brian was a true punk rock pioneer. His guitar playing was electrifying, and he will be sorely missed." Henry Rollins from Black Flag said, "Brian James was a legend. His work with the Damned was groundbreaking, and his legacy will live on forever." Brian James's death is a sad moment for punk rock. He helped make the music we know today. His guitar and songs with the Damned changed things forever. His work with other bands and on his own showed how much he loved music. He was always full of energy and ideas. Whether he was with the Damned, the Lords of the New Church, or playing solo, he gave everything. Fans, friends, and other musicians will miss him a lot. Rest in peace, Brian James. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to daily updates and never miss a video.